Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. I have an amazing video for you guys today. Here is an article from Forbes.com and it starts, mortgage applications rise and potential housing market respite. Could home buying become more affordable soon? This is a very interesting article. Basically, it is talking about how now that the mortgage rates have gone down, even though the Fed's rates have gone up, the mortgages have gone down, and basically things are getting really weird. If we jump to the Redfin weekly housing market data and you look at new listings, right? So the inventory is actually heading down, right? And it's definitely below 2021 levels, which is a little bit on the scary side. And then also if we look at pending sales are down. So what's happening is the supply, unfortunately, is just not there, right? We still are suffering from low supply. Although the supply has gotten better, we are still suffering from, in general, low supply. And now that the rates are going down, is basically giving people a second chance to jump into the market, right? If we look at the rates right here, like I said, they peaked because the Feds raised the rates, but then mortgage rates started going down because basically all the applications stopped like one day to the next. Now the banks are kind of making less money on the mortgages, but they're basically trying to lower those rates, and applications are actually kind of coming back up. So we're gonna be bringing in now more buyers into the market. Now, what is that gonna do? I mean, is that gonna keep the houses high price? Because if we look at the median sale price over here, the prices are still astronomically high, right? And this is something that worries me, what's worrying me is this becoming the new normal? And if this becomes the new normal where prices don't actually crash, but because of inflation, they stay up really high, is this gonna mean that now like it is up to us, the people working to suddenly, go from making a salary of like, let's just say an average salary of like $80,000 to $100,000. Now, what does this mean? Does this mean now we have to suddenly go back to our employer and ask them to give us a salary of $150,000 or $120,000? Well, it's starting to look that way. I know that in factories, they could not get enough employees in, and what ended up happening was they had to raise the prices of their wages to get, because remember, we had the great, what was it called? They coined it something like the Great Resignation, where like everybody was basically quitting their jobs. So anyway, so a lot of factories, to bring back these employees back into their business, they had to raise the wages. Now, because they're doing that, basically the price of goods are becoming more expensive. Now, we know that inflation is going up around the world, so this is probably happening in other parts of the world also. So are products just going to stay at this elevated price, or are prices going to come down and crash? We still live in a supply and demand economy. Now, my issue is that I personally, and this is my personal view, I don't foresee companies necessarily, giving people a 25-30% raise, to combat the real cost of inflation, and definitely to combat the housing prices, rising, so much in the last 3-4 years because of coronavirus. Now, I believe that, in my opinion, for us to be in a healthy economy, the prices of housing needs to come down at least to 2019 levels, but if not, possibly even before that. Because remember, 2019 levels were still semi-elevated. We've definitely been having supply shortages for a long time now. Unfortunately, the cost of building a house is becoming more and more expensive, especially in today's economy with inflation. Cost of building a house is through the roof. So home builders are kind of just sitting back. They're not building as fast as they should because they know that they don't want to sit there and build a house for X amount, $400,000 or $500,000, and then nobody can afford it, right? So they've been kind of stuck in this weird place. And at the end of the day, it's like, if we want to realize the American dream, we need more houses, and we need something different. Okay, we need like basically either jobs are going to pay us a lot more, which I don't see that happening as a whole, or we just need more supply, right? Now, our areas, you know, close to the coast, are those gonna lower in price? No. You know, if you got a lakeside property, those are very hard to come by. Those are definitely always going to stay hot, right? There are always going to be areas like in San Francisco, New York, you know, places like that, that are always going to be expensive. And, you know, sometimes if you're selling a house for 1.5 million and it drops down to 1.3 or one, you know, whatever, 1.35, yeah, it's, you know, you lose, you know, 100,000 or whatever, but you have very few people that could even afford that type of a house. So we're looking at, you know, for the most part, I think that I'm concentrated on those, you know, through any homes between, honestly, between 100,000 and 500,000. You know, obviously the lower end ones, maybe like a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom units in certain areas for rental properties, you know, to kind of expand our wealth. And that's kind of what I'm looking at. There's still options for that. You know, I know my dad ended up buying a condo on the beach in Florida. He paid like $80,000 and now it's worth like 180 or something ridiculous, which is really cool. But yeah, like, so it's looking for those little deals, right? You don't always have to buy a $500,000 house. But yeah, I mean, definitely looking to at one point upgrade my current house. Definitely would like to keep the current house that I'm living in and you know, turn this one into a rental and then kind of upgrade. But I'm definitely not gonna even think about doing that right now with the market being so hot. So I'm giving myself, you know, about a year to 2 years, and in the process, you know, get a bigger down payment, start saving a little bit more, but definitely, you know, put that money away and jump into another property, right? Because, you know, when I retire, hopefully the best case scenario would be if I have my main house and I have like 2 or 3 rental properties, or 2 at least, where they would basically be paying for my lifestyle. So that is the goal, and I think that's a good goal to have for, you know, across the board. You know, when I am thinking about buying a second investment property, I'm definitely thinking of buying, you know, something for possibly a family of 4 would rent near a school district, maybe a 2-bedroom, maybe a 3-bedroom. It doesn't have to be the nicest place, but it has to be, you know, definitely something that a family that is kind of trying to save up for their own house would want to rent, you know, as a time being. So that's kind of how I look at it. That's kind of what I definitely, because I've been in that place, right? And I did rent for a long time, and because my rent wasn't so expensive, I got a great deal, but I was in a great school district. It really let my spouse and me gave us the ability to really save up enough to then buy our own place, right? But now, you know, that's not enough. I kind of want to keep expanding because I really love real estate. I probably love real estate as much as you guys do. I really like staying on top of you know, what's going on and staying on top of the market. Right now, it's a weird thing, man, because I don't know how inflation is really gonna all play out. So I'm gonna be really looking at it. I'm gonna be looking at those interest rates. I'm gonna be looking at that supply, and I'm gonna be looking at the demand. And I'm gonna start really paying close attention to layoffs, because I think it's very important to look at that. You know, as if we have companies start laying people off, that is going to increase the demand if those people can't, you know, pay their mortgage anymore, and then they're gonna put their house on foreclosure. So there's a lot of things that could happen between now and the next 2-3 years. So I'm kind of holding tight. I'm gonna try to take advantage of the situation, and I'm really going to pay close attention to that market. Now, I wanna just jump in and finish today's video, but guys, I wanna say, I mean, look at these numbers that you guys are giving me. Look at all these views I'm getting, all these likes, all these comments. Guys, you have no idea how this makes me feel. I am so happy, and I just wanna send you guys a huge thank you. If this is your first time watching this video, or if you've seen some of my other videos and you do like my videos, don't forget to smash that subscribe button up here and go ahead and like and leave a comment. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love every single one of you guys. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you on the next video.